It's Screonk, Gay Godzilla Movie Marathon, where we're stopping through Godzilla's filmography. I'm Derek, and I've seen all the Godzilla movies, and my co-host Doug will be here briefly. It's just me in the intro because we are releasing a Patreon episode. And speaking of, we'd like to take a quick moment to thank our spectacular patrons, Bo, Carl, Katie, Jason, Zoe, James, Keith, Cody, Toby, Hamish, Blake, Jace, Jojack, David W., David A., Russ, Christian, Benjamin, and Stuart. Wow, that list has grown so much. I love that. So we are dark this month on the Screonk feed, but in lieu of a new episode, we are releasing what was previously an episode on our Patreon. So this is a bonus episode, which tend to be a lot less structured and a lot more just kind of general free-flowing conversation. This was our episode on the animated Godzilla the series, which came right after the 1998 American Godzilla film. And we released this episode originally on January 11th of 2025. So almost like a year to the date that we're releasing it on the main feed, funny enough. But we released it on our Patreon very shortly after our episode on the 1998 Godzilla movie came out. If you haven't listened to that, you absolutely should. I think it's still our longest episode to date. It's one of my favorite ones. We had such a fun time. And this animated series episode was such a fun chaser to that because it is technically a sequel to that movie. But it's also very, very different and, spoiler, very, very, very good. And we have a really great time talking about it. And one like correction in there is a point in this episode. It's always bothered me ever since we released it because it never occurred to me until after we released the episode. But there's a point when I referenced Joe Pantoliano's career exploding in 1999. I wasn't thinking Sopranos premiered in 1999, but he doesn't like show up in Sopranos until I think like 4 seasons into it or something. So like 1999 is actually like not the year of Joe Pantoliano really in the way that we talk about it. But it is still like around the same time period. And it is interesting that Sopranos did premiere in 99, even if he wasn't part of it at that point. Anyway, nobody cares, but in case you were going to like write in and correct me, you don't have to. Anyway, enjoy this episode. We will be back with a regular episode on February 13th with 1972's Godzilla vs. Gigan. It's a lot of fish, Doug.
Oh my gosh, so many fish.
So many fish. Actually, significantly less fish than we saw the last time we talked about this Godzilla continuity.
True, oddly enough.
Yes, it's another Kaiju Bite Screonk bonus episode on our Patreon, and we're talking Godzilla the series, the animated follow-up to the 1998 movie that pretty much everyone kind of universally is like, oh, this is like the good version of that movie. The one good thing that came out of it. If you aren't familiar with it, it ran on Fox Kids from September 98 to April 2000. It is a direct sequel to that 1998 Godzilla film, but there's a lot of changes in like characters, tone, lore, etc. I think everyone would agree for the better in most cases, if not all cases. But let's talk about it. I actually have some really cool background on this one that I found, but you've got familiarity with this cartoon, right? You watched this when it was out, right?
I did watch this when it was airing. There's certainly a lot I forgot about, but there are things that I feel like I kind of remembered, like vibe stuff. And then there's things I've learned since watching that show that now like affect this time watching it, particularly a certain voice or two.
Yeah. Oh, the voice cast on this show is bananas.
Yes.
Like, it's so wild. Like, when you, not even just, I mean, the main characters alone, but like, I mean, we'll talk about it, but like, when you scroll through just like the one-off guest actors on this show, it's ridiculous how the people that they pulled for this. Wild show, banana show. Yeah. No, I watched it too. I mean, I was a Fox Kids kid at the time, and of course I was watching it. Like 98 to 2000 was like was when I was like super into that like era of Power Rangers within space and Lost Galaxy, you know? So I was like, hell yeah. And Digimon too it comes out around this time. So, which actually affects this show negatively, unfortunately. But all of the stuff that like I have such a strong attachment to Fox Kids on, post like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers era is from this, and Godzilla was absolutely like a must see for me. And even at the time, it was just sort of like, oh yeah, the movie, weird and bad, but fun to watch. This show like actually is good. And I think even my parents would watch it with me too, and just sort of like, wow, this show seems a lot cooler than that Matthew Project movie, doesn't it? Yes. Some background on it, because a lot of the people who worked on the show are really interesting too. The plans to go ahead with the cartoon were finalized 8 months before the 98 movie Godzilla, the 98 Godzilla movie actually came out, which makes sense because, you know, there's a long runway for animated shows, right? So they want to get that moving. This was like Sony internally was produced this. Like Sony Animation apparently did stuff like Jackie Chan Adventures and Men in Black the series like around this time.
All shit I love.
Yeah, it's all kind of in that same universe. They all kind of look similar in some ways too. So that was, you know, so Godzilla was going to be kind of part of that like IP type stuff that they were really dealing in that time. They shopped it around to networks. Fox picks it up for a 40 episode order. So the whole bulk of the series that we have now was ordered straight to series right from the get go, which is, I think, says a lot. I think it does make sense because that 98 Godzilla movie was like, they were going real hard and banking on that being a success. So it sort of makes sense that Fox is like, we'll capitalize on that.
Yeah.
We'll try to have a hit show, you know. It was developed by Jeff Klein and Richard Reynes. They were the ones, like Klein was working on the outline and Bible for the show. They both came from Sony's animation division. So they both have like shared credits on, like I said, Jackie Chan Adventures and Men in Black. But individually, Klein also ends up working on like Dragon Tales, Max Steel, Big Guy, and Rusty. Recently, he's done a lot of work on Transformers animated shows. He also developed Netflix's Magic the Gathering show that was canceled before it ever left development.
I forgot that was ever supposed to happen.
Yep. That was him, which, you know what? I mean, I like this guy's work, so it means it probably was going to be
I probably
would
have liked it, yeah.
Yeah. Reynes, individually, a completely different direction from this. He produces a lot of adult animation. So he's worked on The Simpsons and The Simpsons movie. He's worked on King of the Hill, and he's worked on Futurama.
Okay.
Which really interesting. But yeah, apparently when they were working on the outline and the Bible for the show, they were at first working pretty closely with Dean Devlin and Roland Emmerich as they were doing the movie, because the movie was of course still in production at the time. But it was pretty early on. I think they said like, they kind of Emmerich and Devlin were sort of like, we don't care, just do whatever you want to do. So the Klein and Reynes were able to kind of just go with whatever they wanted to do, which I think is why stuff changes in this show, because nobody was mad at them for changing anything.
Right.
So very early on, they were like, well, one thing we're going to do is bring back a lot of Godzilla's classic traits that weren't in the movie, like his atomic breath. And then they brought on a lot of other writers that we're familiar with, because they brought in like Robert N. Skir and Marty Eisenberg, who wrote a lot of episodes of Spider-Man, the animated series. They also worked on Gargoyles, along with Michael Reeves, who also worked on Gargoyles. There's major comic book writers like Marv Wolfman and Len Wein, who we've encountered on Spider-Man stuff before. So like all of like kind of action animated greats, like action animation writer greats from like 90s cartoons end up on this show, which again probably speaks to why it is well done and like really well written.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. All the ingredients and the pedigree make perfect sense. And also like, I don't know if you encounter anything about this when you're looking at stuff about the show, but like, I know it was approved before the movie and probably before anyone knew that there was something wrong with the movie.
Yes.
But like, how fortunate for them to have the show after the movie was a disaster, because they need to move product. You know what I mean?
Well,
and I would think that the show helped, maybe.
That was another thing I was gonna have later, but Trendmasters did create prototypes for a toy line based on this, but because the movie fucked them over so bad, we talk about that in our Skrionk episode, that like the secrecy behind Godzilla's designs like fucked over Trendmasters because they couldn't sell stuff in advance of the movie. Yeah. So by the time this show comes out, that has happened, and there's a lot of bad blood between Sony and Trendmasters, and they're in a bad way, so they end up canceling this toy line.
But does it sell toys from the movie?
Oh, probably so. Yeah, probably
like
so.
Shit that otherwise would have just sat there.
I didn't think about that, but that is a good point. That because this Godzilla in the cartoon looks close enough to the movie design that if you buy toys of the Godzilla from the movie, you're basically buying it from the cartoon. Yeah, it is still stupid that it's like, you know, you're not getting toys of like Nigel and stuff like that in the Heat boat that's clearly meant to be toyetic.
Well, yeah, it also means
you're right.
Randy never gets a figure.
Randy probably never has a toy. Yeah, so it's like that stuff is a bummer. That all got canceled, but that is a good point. Like some of the stuff that would have sat on the shelf was probably bought because of this show. That is a very valid thing. I didn't think about that. Working with Toho, they said was actually I'll also before even getting further, I just want to shout out there is a piece on sci-fi-japan.com that you can only access through archive.org right now because it's defunct, but it is an insanely in-depth piece on this show. That all of my information comes from that because you don't even find this stuff on like Wikizilla now. Like it is like it is like has interviews with like the writers and directors, an episode guide with like, you know, every bit of information you need from each episode. It is like a ridiculously in-depth single page about this show that's like really cool to have, and I'll link to it in the show notes if you want to like read more in depth about this show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. And a lot of like, it has a lot of concept art and like animation cells and images and stuff in there too that are really, really neat. So like I don't think there's a making up book about this show, but that's kind of the best that you can get is probably from that website. But
nice.
Also from that piece that apparently working with Toho was actually like pretty great with this one, as opposed to the weird sort of odd relationship that they had when they were making the 98 movie. Cause they did turn scripts into Toho to have notes. But Toho apparently was very quick about like giving those notes back, and were like, gave good notes, but also gave them a lot of leeway with it. I think mostly because they were like, okay, you're kind of doing the Godzilla that we want you to do if you're doing a Godzilla cartoon. So this works out. And really the only thing that like Toho stopped was just any monster other than Godzilla, because they were going to have to pay more to have other monsters. Mm-hmm. And early in that piece, this kind of surprised me a little bit. Like obviously the money is a big part of it, like paying for any other monster. But they said that like, it could have been possible that maybe if they were like, well, maybe we'll buy like one monster because we're writing a script for it, right? Like maybe we want to do an episode with Ghidorah, but they said by the time the show is in production, the production schedule is so tight that it would be impossible to like get permission, write the script, send that script to Toho, for approval and get approval back in time to like, develop an episode with them. So it's sort of like, we're not even going to try. Yeah. Like we might as well like not even try.
It's not possible.
Right. Like they would have either had to do all of that in advance, or they can't do it at all. And they just chose to not worry about doing it at all. There are apparently some like references to monsters in their development pieces. Like some of the monsters that are in the opening sequence that aren't in any episodes. They don't necessarily they don't necessarily look like monsters from Toho, but they're named like after some Toho monsters.
That's really funny.
Yeah, I think there's one that they named like Gigan. There's one they named Manda, and Megalon and Megara, stuff like that. So like they're named that even though they don't necessarily look like them or anything.
Yeah.
Just for fun internally.
Yeah.
Design wise, this is another person we're familiar with. The head director from the show is Aldu Padden, who we know because he is the executive producer on the MTV Spider-Man show.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Now that said, a big problem with that show was the writing, and Padden isn't involved in like writing of the show. He's just doing the design work on it. I still have a lot of issues with how he talks about things on that Spider-Man DVD set, but he doesn't say misogynistic things in any of the quotes for this show. So
great.
You know, I love that.
Baseline.
Yeah. So a lot of the quotes from this piece are from him talking about it. Mm-hmm. He talked about how Godzilla's design, you know, we talked about in that 1998 episode that they were very, very tight-lipped on the Godzilla design everywhere, even internally. So when they're developing this show, the same was happening where like they're trying to develop a Godzilla show, make character designs, but pretty much everyone working on it wasn't actually allowed to know what the movie Godzilla would look like. I think they allowed like just the leads to know.
Sign
so that
a fucking
meant
NDA.
Well, I feel like now they would do that, but like at the
so
time they're being stupid about it. So there would be early storyboards where it would just be like a very basic shape to approximate Godzilla. They would like have fun with it. They drew in like a sock puppet with like googly eyes or button eyes in place of them. And then they figure like once the crew gets to see Godzilla, then they could go in and like add him to the storyboards after the fact, which is just like, it's just
so unnecessary.
It's just so unnecessary. They didn't see Godzilla. The rest of the crew didn't see Godzilla until literally the day the movie came out. Like the rest of America. Isn't that stupid?
That's extremely stupid. Relax.
And then this show has to like come out in a few months. Like it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. It's wild too to think about. I mean, the only thing that's cool about that, and we didn't really talk about this in the Godzilla 98 episode, but like the only thing cool about that, truly the only thing cool about that is that no one knew. Like it actually was successful and that no one knew. And that's like unfathomable now. Like, you can't hide anything in a movie as long as it's in production. Like, I can't think of the last thing that, like, was a genuine surprise to, like, everyone, you know?
Yeah.
So,
right.
I mean, wasn't
it's
necessarily a great surprise in Godzilla's case, but...
Yeah, but it is cool to remember a time when you could, your main could literally not have anyone know what your main monster looked like.
Right.
Yeah, that is a good point. Also with the secrecy thing, it's just kind of fun. Like they just kept the fact that there was a Godzilla animated show being made and who was working on it. Like they kept that secret. So this show, when it was being developed, it went under the false title Heat Seekers, because the name of the team in the show is the acronym Heat. And they apparently, like, the character designers had fun with it because they said they made up a whole set of like phony characters and designs to throw people off if anyone did like catch a glimpse of what they were working on. So they made up like superhero humans with capes and flames flickering around their joints to reference Heat Seekers. They had a big sheepdog made of pure fire, like something out of the Fantastic Four. That sheepdog was named Flamer.
You can't call it Flamer.
I know.
What are they doing?
They made like posters of that and hung them outside of the office so that people asked and be like, that's what we're working on. We're working on this superhero show about flamers.
At least they had fun with it, because it's so absurd otherwise.
Yeah.
It would have been so easy to be like completely discouraged and annoyed. So I'm glad that the people who had to endure that had fun with enduring it.
Yeah, and apparently, obviously the rumor would go around that there's a Godzilla animated show, no matter how secret you want to be.
Sure.
So their stock reply, if someone was sort of like, "Are you working on a Godzilla show?" They'd be like, "No, I heard they're working on that over in France." Which is really funny considering the relationship this continuity has with France.
Yeah, that's really funny.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Why are they like this? Why were they like this?
It's so silly. It's so silly.
Oh
it's
my
so
gosh.
silly. I just thought this was kind of interesting. We'll talk more about the animation, I'm sure, but like apparently the backgrounds for this show were really unique because I think normally at this era of cartoons, pre-digital animation, which I think for this show, the intro, the opening sequence is digitally animated and digitally colored, but the rest of the show is like traditional cell animation and cell painting. But for this, apparently normally shows will paint a background on a whiteboard. The backgrounds were also painted on cells for this show, which apparently allows for like more color gradations, multiple layers by layering those cells. And the colors are more vivid because I guess when you're painting on like the whiteboard, I think it absorbs colors differently. I don't understand how it works, but like one absorbs colors better than the other. And it's probably just more expensive to paint everything on cells, which is why they don't do it. But I guess they had a good enough budget that they could. And apparently this is sort of a Sony style. So I think Men in Black and like Jumanji and probably Jackie Chan Adventures probably all did this too, which means that your backgrounds are going to be a lot more detailed. And I do think for a show like this, where you're having a lot of wide shots with big monsters, good detailed backgrounds do make a lot of sense.
They might have been able to do it because Jackie Chan Adventures has like the most minimalist backgrounds ever.
Oh, sure.
But it works. It looks cool over there. So, if it meant that it looked cool there and we got these cool ones here, then you know, whatever they did to make it work, I'm happy for it.
Yeah. Patrick Tatopoulos, the designer of the original Godzilla design, was involved early on to help them with sort of the general vibe of the monsters. But then at a certain point, this team gets to take it away. But I think that's how there's a consistency with how a lot of the other kaiju on this show kind of look.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of that probably comes from Tatopoulos.
Okay.
the other fun monster thing, the censors didn't like monsters dying necessarily. So a main reason that they introduced Monster Island at a certain point is so like they basically the delineation is that if a monster is really dumb and just like destruction or just like a massive germs or whatever, that it can get destroyed. But if it's like intelligent in the way that Godzilla is, then it gets to go and live on Monster Island.
Wow.
That was their delineation.
That's a wild distinction.
Right? Very funny. Very funny to me. And this show was very highly rated. It was actually Fox's consistently highest rated cartoon and their number one show of 1998. So it did very well. I think what really killed it was anime and the Pokemon wars.
Oops.
Unfortunately. It was in 99 during its second season. It took a really, really long hiatus because Pokemon blew up. So Fox was like, we need to really push Digimon and Monster Rancher.
Oh, Monster Rancher. Let's how'd that work out for them?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, like one of those was successful. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, it's after, and the show did come back after like a few months being on hiatus. I think like the episode it came back with had really good ratings, and I think was like the highest rated of the show, but like it wasn't enough. Like the momentum was lost by that point. So the rest of the series, you know, it just kind of peters out. There's 2 episodes that it just end up not airing because Fox just stops airing the show. And again, it's just more interested in trying to get as much anime as it possibly can. And you know, it's also cheaper. So of course there's no third season of this show. There was discussions about doing a sequel series if a second Godzilla movie was made, which, you know, that it was always in discussion, but like, obviously that was never going to happen. And even then the movie would probably have to be a huge hit to like justify them doing another sequel cartoon or anything. So the show just kind of stops. They got their 40 episode order and then that's where it ends. But it is well remembered, I think, among fan communities.
For sure.
So the basic kind of premise for this show, if people are unfamiliar with this one, is it's kind of weirdly like more of a remake of the Hanna-Barbera cartoon than I think you would expect it to be.
Really? Yes. That was a thing that was like one of the things that I now have knowledge of rewatching this show is that Hanna-Barbera cartoon. And I was like, they really kind of make it, they set up basically their version of the Hanna-Barbera cartoon in those first few episodes. Like, how do we get to the point where we're just kind of remaking that and modernizing it?
Yeah, because it really is just sort of like, oh, Godzilla hatched, like got one of Godzilla's babies, the one surviving Godzilla egg from the first movie that wasn't genocided. It wakes up next to Matthew Broderick's character, Nick Totopoulos, who's like the hot, cool Nick Totopoulos who fucks in this show.
They ditched the beret, or the, not the beret, the, whatever the hat is called.
Yeah. What is it called? I just call it a beret
it's
too.
like a page boy, but it's not actually a page boy. But it's, I don't know what it is. It's I know Kangol makes them, but I don't know what the hat is actually called.
No, they give this one a very strong jaw and cool hair. And he gives like bedroom eyes in that opening sequence too. It's like
we're not at the designs yet, but
we'll talk about the characters in a second. But yeah, I mean, but that's what I was leading up to, is that like that the premise of this show is that Godzilla imprints on him, and so now that's how that Godzilla grows up is his friend, and then he works with a team of scientists, some from the original Godzilla movie, some that are new characters, to pursue other mutations like the original Godzilla that are threatening them, which, like the Hanna-Barbera show, is just a bunch of scientists on a boat fighting monsters and weird sci-fi premises, which is really wild and cool.
It's honestly really kind of wild how similar it is, even down to the fact that like this show adds an assistant for Totopoulos, who also happens to be like the only black character in this franchise, in like this Godzilla continuity franchise.
Yeah. Wild. Yeah. Let's talk about some of these characters then, while we're talking about that. Well, first of all, this is just kind of funny. There was early on, they did attempt to make the returning characters look like their movie counterparts. But one thing they decided was like, do we want to have to negotiate likeness rights with like Matthew Broderick and these like major actors and stuff. So they're like, no. So they just made all the characters look nothing like them originally, which is really funny because one of the ones they change is an actor who's in the show.
I was gonna say,
I don't really understand that decision.
Yeah.
But I guess if they're sort of like, if we're kind of reinventing what everyone looks like, why not just like make everyone look different? You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. It is really funny though, like hearing Kevin Dunn's voice coming out of a guy that looks nothing like Kevin Dunn. And like doesn't look like he would sound like Kevin Dunn.
No, not at all. Not at all. Ian Ziering voices Nick.
We know him.
We know him, obviously 90210, but we know him from the MTV Spider-Man show. He's Harry Osborn. Funny enough, Jason Priestley, also from 90210, was originally to play this character. He actually voiced him for the first 5 episodes, and then he was, I think for scheduling reasons, he couldn't do it. So that Ian Ziering comes in and then re-records all of his lines. Which it's interesting because I think Priestley, I feel like weirdly could match Broderick's vibe a little more in a way, you know?
Sure.
Like I don't know, there's like a tonality to his voice and the way that he talks that I feel like matches that more. And then when he leaves, they're just sort of like, Ian Ziering, just like be a hot guy, it's fine.
I was gonna say the thing is like Ian Ziering is not going to do Matthew Broderick,
exactly.
You know, so
I like it. I like him.
I like it. Yeah, I like him a lot. It is odd going from the movie directly to the cartoon because it basically is just a different character, and it almost
1000%.
It's just slightly too weird to change it to a different character, so I get why they didn't do that. But it is effectively just a totally different character, which is a little odd.
Yeah.
Oh my god! And they milk Ian Ziering for every go they possibly can. Why?
It's every episode.
Why is that his like
Godzilla,
catchphrase?
go
Go,
yeah,
go.
it's so weird. It's so weird. Every episode. Ridiculous.
So wild.
Yeah. And what's I think really interesting about this show is like the characters that we complained on them not doing enough with end up being elevated to like the main cast of this, right? So Elsie and
Craven.
Elsie and Dr. Craven are both like the second and third leads of this show.
Yeah. Which makes sense. It made sense to us the entire time we were talking about that movie. Yeah. It makes sense here. I think like the two of them were already like kind of cartoonish in what they could have been. And I think the movie thought it was doing cartoonish things with them, but it just didn't do anything with them. So yeah,
right.
We get it. We get more of them here. And I was really worried, Derek. I was so worried because the first 2 episodes pick up like minutes after it overlaps actually with the movie.
Yeah.
And so Dr. Craven, of course, is like sneezing up a storm and being all stuffed up. And I was like, fucking God, this whole fucking show is going to have him be like this. And it cools off though. I was very happy. I was like, this better not stay like this.
I think the smart thing they do with Craven is that they, instead of it being like, isn't it funny that he's sick, I guess, like the original movie does, they make him being kind of a germaphobe and hypochondriac part of his personality.
Which is actually a personality trait.
It
just
makes a lot of
being
sense.
Sick in a movie for some reason is not a personality trait.
Exactly.
It doesn't inform anything. So yeah, I like what they do with his character in particular because yes, they make it a personality that he's a bit of a germaphobe, and that kind of colors how he interacts with the world around him and certain monsters. But also they make him kind of like the gadgety tech guy, which if it was in the movie, I already forgot about it. Like he's kind of just a guy in the movie. And in this one, he's like their tech guy. You know, he makes Nigel and he like does all the little tinkery things.
Yeah, I don't even remember what's like, because I know in the movie they do refer to Elsie as a paleontologist. I don't remember what they call him in the movie. I think maybe he's a chemist or something like that. But in the show, like he's explicitly like a robotics engineer. Mm-hmm. Like that is his role on the team, which I'm positive is just a total change from what he was in the movie in a good way. I'm looking
at his character page on Wikizilla. It doesn't even say, just Dr. Craven was a part of the team. And then it literally says, a little bit of editorializing here, it says, Craven played a very minor, if non-existent role in the subsequent efforts to destroy the creature.
I mean,
they're not
what
wrong.
did he do? Literally, what did he do in that entire movie other than sneeze?
That's so
literally, what did he do?
So fucking funny. Yeah,
this show absolutely gives him his due.
Yeah,
because he gets many episodes spotlighted.
Oh yeah,
him specifically.
Yeah, glad they actually developed him as a character. Glad they developed Elsie as a character. I mean, she has stuff going on later that makes her very distinct, even from Dr. Craven. It's not even just like they're a duo. You know, I kind of assumed they were and thought maybe they were based on what I watched in the movie. And they got their own stuff going on. Yeah,
I like Elsie a lot in the show. I mean, she really is the second in command, honestly. And I like that they actually, I think that there's a genuine, it can be a little battle of the sexes type stuff sometimes, but like there is a love triangle between Nick, Elsie, and Audrey in this show that I think is kind of fun sometimes, because Elsie is not only is she like the second lead and second in command, but she is also like the sardonic like wisecracker the entire time. And for one, it's funny to have like a woman character that's like that. Like I think her role is usually occupied by like the guy a lot of you know, the funny guy in the background a lot of times. So I love that they give her that, but also I don't know, like I like that she also just kind of gets to be like an action hero in this show too, you know?
Yeah, and she has a different, we talked about this in the movie, she has a different voice actor here, but Craven has the same one. He does a good job. I went to look to see like, oh, I wonder what else he did in voice acting, and he just didn't do much. It's really kind of bizarre.
Yeah. I don't know why, but I like them both
Me too.
in this show.
Me too.
As far as other returning characters go, Paget Brewster comes and voices Audrey from the movie, which I think Paget Brewster, I don't think she really breaks out until she does Criminal Minds like a few years after this. So this was probably like she was around, but I don't know if she was like known at the time. She really rules. I really like her a lot, and I think Audrey is so interesting because they like really don't. She's barely a part of this show.
Yeah. Outside
of like a few episodes where she's spotlighted, and they kind of have to undo her whole character arc in the movie, I think, for this to happen at all, which is a little bit weird, but also like, I don't know. I think that it's
the whole thing anyway.
Right. Cause like literally, you know, when in the first episode opens with like a remake of the end of the first movie. And the end of that first movie is her like saying, "I quit," and then leaving. The beginning of that scene goes into her, you know, picking up a microphone and trying to interview Nick and annoying him. Yeah. And it's sort of like, no lesson was learned here. She just wants to be a reporter and get the scoop, you know?
But that's a fun character. So having to give it up, I understand them not wanting to.
Because I do think there's a really fun dynamic of being like the lead character's girlfriend is a reporter who wants to get the scoop, and her boyfriend has the scoop of the century. And that always makes her torn between, can I get the scoop or betray my boyfriend? Which is what the whole movie
interesting about the movie. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's like one of the few compelling things I found in that movie was that specific dynamic, which for a movie obviously has to be resolved, but here, you know.
So I like that they play with that. And there's other episodes that spotlight her more. Most of the ones that we watched for this, like she's not really present in them, but like she pops up every so often, you know.
Yeah, she's not non-existent.
And then Animal is there along with her. Joe Pantoliano voices him.
What the fuck? How did that happen?
Okay, but here's the thing though. He has existed obviously for a long time. I don't think he really blows up and becomes like the Joey Pants we all really know until like Sopranos and The Matrix, which both happened in 99. I know he has done stuff, obviously.
I guess he was in both Bad Boys movies, but I guess that's not enough for him to have become sort of like the caricature of Joe Pantoliano.
Right. Like he's been acting since like the 80s, I think, in like major stuff. It's not like he was a nobody, but I don't think that he, like the way that we know him as Joe Pantoliano, like, wait, Joe Pantoliano's in this? Like
the point at which we would ask that question. Yeah.
Right. Like that doesn't happen until like literally the year after this, I think. And then he explodes.
It just, it seems so wild.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, it really is like Sopranos and Matrix are the same year. Like that is 1999 is a fucking banger year for him. Yeah. And he is doing this the year before that, you know?
I've been thinking about that kind of year a lot this year because seeing a bazillion movies, you notice when people are in a bunch of stuff that year. And so I've never thought about that before. The idea that like a year could be sort of like planned to be your breakout year because of a year like that one for Joe Pantoliano. You know what I mean? Like, it's really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, you know, Kevin Dunn, we mentioned him, returns as Colonel Hicks. I don't know if he doesn't pop up that often. Michael Lerner actually voices Mayor Ebert in this show whenever he shows up.
Yeah, I don't think he was in any of the ones that we...
I don't think he was either.
Watched, or that we like specifically watched.
He's only in like 5 episodes, I think. They don't really use him very often. Also, another person, I wish I'd thought of this ahead of time, but Jean Reno's character does show up in the show a couple of times, not often. It's Keith Sabarabashka voices him. We've run into him before in a couple of Spider-Man episodes. He's like Holtz on Angel. He's Harbinger in Mass Effect 2. He does a lot of voice acting. He does show up a couple of times, but he's not like a main character on this show because they replace him with a hot young lady instead. Yeah. Which I'm not mad about.
Yeah, I forgot about her. Like, if you had asked me to list characters or whatever, I wouldn't have been able to. But the moment I saw her, I was like, oh my God, that's right. Like, I forgot about this woman.
The DVD like weirdly like omits her and replaces her with Audrey for some reason.
That's weird. Why?
I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah,
it's
like
bizarre.
Yeah. That's Monique, and she's voiced by Bridget Bacco, who was Angela on Gargoyles, is what I know her from. And really, the one quote that I found on her was from Jeff Kline, was just sort of like, we thought it would be nice to have a female kick-ass character, because he says, and I quote, "The women in the movie weren't quite that." Thanks. I love the shade that he's giving that. He's giving there.
Deserved. Deserved.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think that was actually a smart choice because she gets to be like femme fatale secret agent, you know?
Yeah. I'm just thinking about that now. Like, we didn't really touch on this. The 3 women in the movie are all very much defined by the men that they're interested in.
Yeah,
in that
Audrey,
movie.
Lucy, Elsie, and that's like it, right?
Those are the 3 main women I'm thinking of, unless I'm just completely missing somebody.
There's literally no women in the military in that movie.
No. Yeah, wow. Ooh, that sucks. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I can't believe we didn't even know. There was
a lot going on.
So many things to talk
we
about.
could have gone for like 2 more hours.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, honestly, if there's one huge improvement that the show does in general is just like women in general.
Yes.
Like, you have 3 major female characters that are all vastly different from each other in
Very
this show.
different, and with plenty of agency.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah. We also got Randy Hernandez, as a new character. Reno Romano voices him. It's Spider-Man Unlimited, our boy.
It is wild. Like, the moment I heard him, I was like, holy shit, it's Reno Romano. Like, but the problem is I can't not hear Spider-Man.
I know.
It's not a problem for the show. It's not their fault. It doesn't hurt the show at all. My brain is just like poisoned. Yeah. But it's like, it's so hard because I'm like, that's Spider-Man.
Did you ever watch
Spider-Man?
Did you ever watch The Batman? Because he's Bruce Wayne in that show too.
I didn't, but I can't imagine that he would act Bruce Wayne the way that he acts Peter Parker or Randy, who are both a little bit more energetic and a little bit more less put together, I would say, than a Bruce Wayne tends to be.
No, that's true. I guess, yeah, because there is a crossover between Randy and Peter Parker in terms of like wisecracking young, energetic guy. That's a good point. So it's like a really similar performance.
Yeah.
It's a little weird. Like, Reno Romano is just like an Italian American, and Randy's supposed to be Black and Portuguese. So the Venn diagram is not even touching there.
Oops! I didn't know that.
Weird.
Yikes!
Yeah, that's a little weird. But you know, in spite of that, he does a great job. He's really fun.
Yeah.
A little weird. A
little strange.
So still no black actors in this Godzilla continuity at all.
Cool. Well, I guess at the very least I did know Reno Romano was not black, so
yeah.
Yeah. The Japanese movies do better than this.
Right?
And no one would fault them. Like, it's so fucking wild. Well, I shouldn't say they do better than this, because those are also a series of movies that we talked plenty about when it came to like the 60s. But the movies around this time
from the
did
90s,
better.
Yeah. Yeah, well, whatever. We also get a fun robot character, Nigel, that Tom Kenny voices.
Yeah.
So we got Tom Kenny in this.
Which is fun. Always fun.
Yeah, he was intentionally a reference to Kenny from South Park. Like, he gets destroyed in every single episode. Like, that was an intentional reference. Yeah. Also tangentially related, but like, Nigel obviously is like, it's fun to have a robot. It's also easy to make a toy out of if they were going to make toys out of it.
Sure.
In terms of like, kid appeal type characters, apparently Haim Saban, who was like in charge of Fox Kids at the time when they were making this show, was sort of like, here's what you guys should do. There should be a dog as part of your team, and the dog should be a Chihuahua, and it should be the Taco Bell Chihuahua because of the Taco Bell commercials that paired Godzilla with the Taco Bell Chihuahua. And they were like, I don't know about that, buddy. Their logic that I think they gave back to them to turn it down was, well, Godzilla is huge. Chihuahuas are tiny. Doing that in one shot would be an animator's nightmare. So how about here's a robot instead? Let's do that.
That is like the most like go over there while the artists and creatives do their thing moment ever. Like, that's so fucking wild. You should put the Taco Bell Chihuahua in your cartoon. Okay. That's so wild. I mean, the Nigel thing works perfectly because you have a droid, right? So you don't have to have your animal sort of mascot, because the whole fucking show is your animal mascot, but you still get to have a little sort of like comedic non-human character in your droid, Nigel.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff that they do with Godzilla is like a boy and his dog type stuff. Just, it's giant and it's like, darker stuff happening around it, but that's kind of the whole vibe,
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Oh, the only other voice actor I didn't reference, Frank Welker, obviously did some of the voice work for Godzilla in the movie, and he does some of the voice work for Godzilla in this show too. So yeah.
Can we talk about designs? Can we talk about the style of this?
Meant to already talk about that, but you're right. Yes, let's talk about it.
You mentioned the bedroom eyes from Dr. Totopoulos in the opening, but like everyone in this show is either half lidded or like half opened eyes, or like it's so, and everybody's except for Craven, who's supposed to be your like, pudgy slobbish one. Like, everyone is so gaunt. Everyone has either the sharpest cheekbones or the most like sunken in cheeks ever. Yeah. And like, with the exception of Totopoulos and again Craven, like everyone's eyes are like damn near on the side of their heads. Like, there's it's such fascinating design work. And you mentioned that this and Jackie Chan Adventures and Men in Black are kind of like of a group, like a group together, yes, even design wise. That's definitely true, because all three of those shows do tend to deal more in like actual human proportions, with some obvious exceptions in like Jackie Chan's niece or whatever. But like most characters have like human-ish proportions, but it doesn't change the fact that these people have wild fucking face designs.
They do.
Truly wild. And everybody like, a bunch of them have like effectively like eyeliner, so everybody just looks like kind of sad and like unhappy a lot of the time.
Yeah, I think that they do, but I kind of think that fits the vibe of this show though.
Sure.
I think this show is really, considering it is a Godzilla show with giant monsters and kaiju, it's a kind of often pretty quiet, solemn, dour show a lot of the time.
Really? Yeah.
And I like that about it, to be honest. I wouldn't say that a lot of cartoons, and I wouldn't say that about a lot of like Godzilla stuff either, necessarily, depending on the context. And I actually think the energy that this show, the dourness of it, like when you apply it to Spider-Man, for example, that's what we didn't like about the MTV Spider-Man, that it's like a really nihilistic show that doesn't fit Spider-Man. I think that dourness and kind of nihilism sometimes can work with some versions of Godzilla, and I think that they make it work for this one. I think that 1998 was the right time to be able to have just sort of like everyone's sort of kind of like, I don't know, kind of disaffected, and everyone's just sort of like, oh man, what's weird, this shit's going on. Like, they're like, when they fucking have horrible things happen in this show, they just kind of like crack jokes about it. It's just sort of like, damn, that sucks, huh? Anyway, like,
Yeah.
oh, we're in the future and the apocalypse has happened. Wow, where's the
God.
lemon pledge? Like, it's just like they don't give a shit half the time. And
Yeah.
that could get annoying, but I think that it's kind of I think they get the vibe right for this, you know?
They strike a balance because it's not like everybody is, you know, like I wouldn't say that the characters are constantly nihilistic, even though the vibe sometimes has that, you know? So like characters still feel motivated and optimistic, or at least positive about certain things, which I think balances out the general vibe that like we aren't like solving a big problem so much as we are like mitigating constant problems, you know what I mean? Like a lot of times it's just sort of like there are monsters and we have a monster and we're going to try to protect our monster that people want to kill so that we can save these ungrateful assholes from the other monsters that will kill them. Like it's just, you know, it's kind of like almost like war-ish vibes for something that's not a war, obviously. Well, most of the time, but sometimes
there's a monster war.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree with that. Yeah, it's an interesting mix, and again, I think it also just sets it so apart from the '98 movie, which was like basically a comedy with like silly twinkly kids movie music, and this show is just sort of like bizarrely feels like more mature in some ways than that movie did in terms of its tone. You know?
Sure.
Yeah. There's plenty of other little things to talk about, but I guess I'll list off the episodes that we watched for this. Basically, I think my idea when pitching this was just like, we'll do the arc episodes and then just like a couple of random ones that I remembered being cool, kind of high concept ones. So we did the opening 2-parter New Family parts 1 and 2, the episode Leviathan, and then the 3-part Monster War episode that is a follow-up to Leviathan that basically forms the story arc for this show. And then we also watched the episode Future Shock, which is about them, a time travel episode that's really cool, and What a Long Strange Trip It's Been, which is about them going into Godzilla's body,
which we had to because it came up.
yeah. Did you watch any episodes other than these for this?
I haven't. No, I even told you, Derek, I was like, oh, I got these DVDs so early, like I might watch the whole fucking series, and then lo and behold, it's like, fuck, I gotta watch these, and I've completely dicked around.
There are a lot of good ones. There's one that
but
I just watched.
Will, because I did get the DVDs, and now I'm like mad at myself for not having watched more because it's fucking good.
There's one that I wish that I had pitched to you for this one because I just watched it today and I had never seen it before, but it's the episode Scale that is right before Future Shock. It is a completely documentary episode, fully from the perspective of Audrey's camera and narrative reporting. And it has Linda Blair voicing a character in it.
I saw Linda Blair in these credits. You mentioned it's wild the folks that end up in here. Linda Blair's in there. There's Michael Chiklis. He doesn't look like Michael Chiklis, but I'll listen to him.
Ron
Perlman.
Ron Perlman is in
we
one
did
of the
watch
episodes
those. Yeah.
Roddy McDowall from Planet of the Apes and Fright Night. His last role was this show.
Wild.
Right before he died.
That's wild.
Yeah. There's also like I know I've seen the episode, but I didn't rewatch it. There's an episode at some point early on. It's the episode Cat and Mouse, where there's like redneck hunters that are going after Godzilla to seek him for like the ultimate hunting trophy.
That sounds really familiar.
They're named Dale, Bill, and Hank.
That's
King of
amazing.
The Hill. Yeah.
That's
which would have been a
amazing.
really topical reference because that show only just started in 97. So like that's the type of humor that this show had. Like,
it's great.
It's fucking great. So many wild pulls for voice actors for this.
Yeah.
But
I mean, each time I watched an episode and then saw either other titles or saw who was in one, I was like, damn it. Why didn't I do this?
Yeah.
So I will definitely be watching more of it. And I recommend anybody who like has even like a small fond memory of it to just, I think the DVDs were like $12 or something for like the whole
like
series.
$15 for 40 episodes.
Yeah, it's like not bad.
They're in like
at all.
They're in the original intended order too, because Fox, of course, like aired them all
that
out
threw
of
me
order.
off.
Yeah, well, I didn't realize that until we got the DVDs, and I was like, oh yeah, the numbers that I gave you were not right, because there is some continuity. Like there is a certain point when they introduce Monster Island, and Monster Island is a presence from there. There's some monsters that like appear and then reappear, and Fox did it all out of order, of course, which caused some problems with that. So you can watch it in its intended order if you get the DVDs, which is cool.
Yeah. That's I probably will just start over, and just watch it from beginning to end. There's also 2 episodes that never aired, which I'm really excited to watch because I never would have seen them. Like, I know I didn't see every episode of the show when it was airing, but to know that I guaranteed didn't see those ones, and anytime a show has like unaired or banned episodes, it's like, well, yeah, I'm gonna watch those.
Yeah, like that feels exciting. It feels like you've discovered
you're breaking rules.
yeah. Like you're one of only a few that's managed to view this, managed to view this the secret. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's go through some of these. The opening 2-parter. We already talked about it. It is just bananas that it just opens with just the end of the movie. Like they just recreate the end of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I was not expecting that at all. I just kind of assumed the show would pick up like with its own status quo after a time skip, and then we would get like an explanation of who this Godzilla was. Like I really didn't expect them to directly connect it,
Yeah. What I think is so interesting about this opening 2-parter too is that like it is both unafraid to just be like, no, this shit's different, it doesn't care, we don't care, but also still make some references to the movie too where you wouldn't like they reference, like when Monique shows up, they reference like, oh, you're a friend from the insurance company, right? But then don't explain that. So if you haven't seen the movie and don't get that the French people were like undercover as insurance company people, and he makes that reference in the cartoon, you'd have no fucking idea what they're talking about. So you kind of do have to have seen the movie to get some of this stuff and know some of the character relationships, but also they're like they're just sort of like, I have a lab on Staten Island and a research assistant I never mentioned before, and Audrey's character is completely different now and everything. It's fine. It doesn't matter. Like I love that they play both sides of it.
You kind of need to watch it to understand who that character is, but you don't need to understand, or you don't need to watch it to understand her role in the group and the show.
You
know what I mean?
That's a good
I think
point.
They managed to do just enough so that you know what she's connected to if you've seen the movie. But like, even I wouldn't have as a kid realized because I was stupid. You know what I mean? So like, I just wouldn't like, she's cool, and I would have gotten her vibe.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is truly wild though. I mean, it's refreshing too, honestly. I love the fact that we have right here a movie and a direct sequel cartoon series to the movie that is sort of like, you know what? We're going to tweak things to make a better story or a better product.
Right.
This is the shit that I'm talking about when I go on my tangents and get on my soapboxes. Beautiful. Love it.
Oh,
amazing.
Yeah.
Serve your story,
Right. Yeah. It can be, you can deal in continuity, but that doesn't mean it has to be so strict that you restrain yourselves. Because if they had to stick as close to the movie as possible, it would be a dog shit show. Like they made it better. Everyone agrees they made it better.
Yeah, so. Totally. It is. I mean, it is so cool though. Just seeing their sort of animated version of the end of that movie. It's cool then to also watch them like revisit elements of the movie through settings as they like search for things, or you see destruction from the movie in the cartoon show. Like it's really cool. It's really neat.
Yeah, it's very cool. I love that the first episode, the cliffhanger of it is the question of, did the military just blow up Godzilla? And like, that's your to be continued.
Did they kill Godzilla in the first episode of Godzilla?
Yeah. But even still, like, that's funny. But also, it's so immediately clear how they reframe Godzilla in this as like a tragic hero who saves people, but then has to run from the military instead of being like, Godzilla is basically Spider-Man in this show, where it's just like everyone's as scared of him. Even like he is a hero, but everyone is still scared of him. Therefore, he still has to escape death, even as he saves lives. That kind of stuff.
He's
like,
Zeta from the Zeta Project.
Sure, a reference that absolutely everyone will get universally.
Yeah, 100%. No, I think that's a good point though, because the movie is so unconcerned with having any sympathy for Godzilla or Godzilla's 100 children. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for this show to be like, this show only is going to work if we firmly establish that we like Godzilla and that we care about this child of Godzilla.
Right.
Because the show wouldn't work if you didn't do that.
Exactly. And even with Kevin Dunn returning as the same character with the military and technically being on good terms with our main character, the military is a like formidable antagonist in this show when they need to be. Like sometimes they can work on the side of good, but oftentimes they're not. I think, which is how you can play a Godzilla movie, you know? Like, I think that's, or a Godzilla story. I think that works really well. Like, suddenly it's not just like, isn't it funny that the military is fucking everything up for no reason? It's like, no, we don't want the military to kill Godzilla because, of course, their priority is going to be to kill every monster that they see, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. It's a cool way to start the show. It was really exciting.
Yeah. Right.
Also, the baby Godzilla animated is very cute.
Oh, yes. We need to talk about that. What do you think of this? Because this Godzilla design, it is very, very similar, obviously, to the movie design.
Yeah.
You know, there's some tweaks here and there. I think like what its proportions are, I think it often is a little more humanoid and how it works, like with his arms and everything.
Sure.
And his arms are long enough and everything like that, just because it's a cartoon. But like, for the most part, it's just a cooler version of what we saw in the movie in a lot of ways. I think.
It's interesting. I think that this design looks so much better in animation than it did in the movie. And what's funny about that is I think that the monsters we get in this series like are very clearly, I think, designed to be like monsters realized in a live action movie. Like it's kind of funny. Like I think Godzilla looks better in animation, and I think a lot of these monsters would look better in a movie, you know? It's a funny sort of like flip of things.
Yeah.
But having watched like 15 Godzilla movies and then gotten back to this show, I've now seen a bunch of different Godzilla designs and have gotten used to like an actual traditional Godzilla design, which wouldn't have been the case when I was a kid. This would have been the Godzilla design. So then watching the show back, I'm like, oh yeah, this does feel like a Godzilla in the sense that I'm familiar with it, that I'm familiar with the way that it moves. I'm familiar with people calling it Godzilla, you know, and shouting, "Go Godzilla!" You know?
Yeah. Go Godzilla! Go, go, go!
Go, go, go! Yeah.
Back away! Back
I forgot
away!
about that. I forgot that he had like commands. You know what I mean? Like,
it's really
back
funny.
away!
They go a little too hard sometimes, but I get it. It's fine. I think I mentioned this in our Skrionk episode, but like the facial expressions that they do on this guy are so good. I think that they use, as weird as his design is and as like weird as the head is, they make him like really cute when he needs to be really cute. And they do, and even in the opening when he's supposed to look kind of majestic and cool, like just like when you have the close up of him from like the guy driving on the bridge and just looking and blinking, like he looks so fucking cool when he's doing that, you know?
Yeah, I think just everything about him works so much better in animation. The way he moves, the way he looks, the vibe, his expressions, everything
Even the
looks
color,
better.
the color
looks so much better in animation.
Yeah. I feel like the sort of flat green that he was in the movie, like because it's just like he's a darker shade, a darker, almost like closer to like charcoal gray kind of shade of green that he has. With this, it works really well.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. I like it, even though it's you know based on the same thing. I like it here when I didn't like it there.
Yeah. Also, he throws rocks. When I think about Godzilla's signature move, he throws rocks in this show. He loves the rocks. It's funny.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the two standalones before we talk about the alien stuff?
Yeah, let's do it. I think that makes sense.
Yeah. So, what a long, strange trip it's been. I love the concept. I didn't love the episode as much as I wanted to, though.
I agree with you. I love the concept. I don't necessarily love the execution, both in like the actual story that they're telling, but also like it's a hard thing to pull off when they're not actually miniaturizing themselves.
Right.
And then they're going into Godzilla. I just have a hard time. It's like things just don't feel right. Like it's fine to play with proportion and geography, and it's fine to play with those things, especially in animation. That's like the way to do it. But it's like such a big ask for us to believe that they're like doing this much traveling inside the body of Godzilla when we are so familiar with their size relationship to each other. I know it's nitpicky, but I do think it is the thing that contributes to what doesn't always work with that episode.
It's a big problem that I think you have to kind of pretend that Godzilla is a lot bigger than he actually is in this show. You have to. I think if he were a traditional sized Godzilla, or traditional, I say there is no traditional, I guess, but like a colossal Godzilla, like he maybe was in the Heisei movies at this time, you could buy it more. But this Godzilla is a small one. He is a small, just like in the 98 movie, he's a small guy. And yet they're trying to be like, yeah, we're going to go through his heart. And I'm like, you're like the size of his heart. What are you talking about? And why are we
seeing cells and antibodies? It's like really whales' cells aren't bigger than my cells.
Yeah. It was a cool idea, but it's almost like it was either the wrong show to do it in, unfortunately, or the problem should have been that Godzilla was like growing in the context of the episode or something like that. You know what I mean?
Okay, honestly, this show does some wild fucking shit. It wouldn't have been that weird for them to figure out how to shrink a couple of them.
Yeah.
I really don't think this show is like outside, you know, the realm of doing that. Some of the shit we saw is wild.
Yeah, that's true.
If you're going to do an episode like that, you know, it's already kind of absurd to say that you're taking like a submarine into Godzilla's arteries. So like, just go all in. Go all in. Whatever. Yeah. Make it the full ass Magic School Bus episode that we were all thinking about when you did it. You know?
Yeah. My 2 notes from this one were so gross and shooting germs with laser rifles. And that's kind of the vibe.
So
sneezing
gross.
everywhere.
You know how I feel about all this. Everybody's heard me talk about like animated people being sick and boogers and all that shit. And this episode is like very much relying on that for its humor and like important elements of the show.
Yeah.
Or the episode. Love the idea. Wish they had, done it slightly differently. I don't want them to get rid of that episode. I just wish they'd done it differently.
Well, and I do think that episode is a testament to the fun concepts that the show was playing with, that like the Hanna-Barbera cartoon wasn't able to do because of their limitations,
right?
And the period they existed in, but it's still kind of matching the Hanna-Barbera cartoon in that it's just like, what if, Hanna-Barbera cartoon was like, what if Godzilla started shrinking and then like fought a rat and then fought a bunch of bacteria? It's kind of thinking along those lines. It's sort of like, we've got this giant monster. What if we have these fun concepts with it, right? So you have an episode like this where it's like, let's go into Godzilla's body. The episode that I was pitching to you earlier, Scale, it's like, what if we see a bunch of monster battles from the perspective of a news reporter? Like, beautiful idea for a kaiju stuff. And then the other episode we watched is like a fucking time travel episode, right?
If they can accidentally travel 30 years, 20 whatever years into the future by just like hitting a naturally occurring storm with no explanation.
That's true. There's no explanation.
You can shrink some people,
Yeah,
and then lose the technology.
Right. But all of that is to say that like this show was like, let's go at it like a legit sci-fi show, like any sci-fi show, and do wild shit.
I love it,
and I love it so much for it that it isn't just it could have just been a Monster of the Week show and been fine. And I think that they at least tried to find new concepts within the Monster of the Week format is what elevates it and makes it so good.
Yeah, I think, I didn't remember, my memory was not of a show that would do like these big what if concept swings. But one, as a kid, I wouldn't have thought of it that way. And two, I'm sure the reason that I remember it fondly is because of that, because I don't know that I would have thought of it as fondly if it was just a monster every week that Godzilla fought.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it, like, seeing it, my initial reaction was like, this is a wild thing they're doing. But then when you think about it, you're like, but actually it makes sense that I loved the show,
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then it means that like the monsters don't always necessarily have to be that memorable. They can just be like here's a fucking germ, here's a fucking giant dragonfly monster or whatever. Like if they're not, the episode around it can be really interesting, or the human story can be really interesting.
Yeah. Why is Future Shock a one-parter? Why is it one episode?
It is
How
kind
are
of
you
bananas.
gonna fucking travel through
happens.
time and not do a 2-part episode?
It is wild how much happens in that episode.
It was over and I was shocked. I was like, what do you mean you're going back already?
Yeah. So Future Shock, everyone on the team except for Craven accidentally, just like you do, passes through a storm that teleports you like 20 something years into the future.
Yeah, a time
to the
storm, whatever.
To the faraway apocalyptic future of 2022.
2022, as he says. Yeah, okay. That episode also, the setting of 2022 being this like post-apocalyptic like New York where everybody is like like an 80s commando does not help with the Rina Romano Spider-Man Unlimited problem. Like they basically traveled to Counter
Earth.
Right, Counter Earth. Like this is basically what was happening.
Yeah.
Like, this is fucking with my brain.
Randy, get your nanotech watch out.
Right, exactly. Yeah. That episode is so wild. At first I was like,
ridiculous.
It's absurd, it's ridiculous, but I fucking love it. It's like I was initially put off because of course Craven is like this Rambo like buff, like grizzled, whatever person in the future. I'm like, that's not Craven, but that's the fucking joke. That's the whole thing, right? And so like the more they lean into it, and the heavier they like lay on the just absurdity of Craven being this like, I'm gonna jump onto a monster and blast it directly in the face, and then land by flipping around like a light post, like. It's hard not to be like, this fucking rules. This is so fucking funny.
It is. And I mean, the whole lesson of it is just sort of like the guy that we make fun of does have this in him. Like that ends up being the point, which I like. I like that that's a nice little character bit that it's like kind of ends up being about them like appreciating like the goofy guy that they sometimes take for granted, you know? It's really simple, but I like that. And it is a fun way to do that, because plenty of shows would be like, oh, he just proves his worth in an episode one day. But I love they go to the extreme of like going to the future and seeing him be a fucking Rambo.
Episode.
Right. It's just it's ridiculous. Do you think that Malcolm Danare was doing that deeper voice, or do they literally have to add a filter to him? Because I could not tell.
Well, it's hard to say. Throughout watching these episodes, I was like, is Malcolm Danare like pitching up his voice because he's doing a cartoon?
Maybe.
But then I was like, he talked so little in the movie that I'm not actually sure. But I don't think he's just talking. I think he is voice acting, right? I think he's doing the thing people don't realize voice actors doing, which is putting all of their acting into their voice. So I don't know. I'm not sure. I did think about that though. Like, are they pitching him down, or is he doing that all on his own? I wouldn't be surprised if he was doing it all on his own, because his delivery as Craven in the future is like a lot slower and more intentional. And I wouldn't be surprised if part of that was just him trying to maintain that like lower voice. But I don't know. I'm not sure. I wouldn't be surprised either way.
Yeah.
Could be a combo, you know?
Yeah.
So
also,
fucking funny. He couldn't have chopped the ponytail off in the future. That seems like a danger, sir. Now's the time.
He's also just like taller somehow. Like he grew.
Really is.
he's like a foot taller than everyone else.
Yeah. In the future, everyone's taller. Didn't you know?
I mean, maybe, you know, they show Hicks with like a robot arm at a certain point. That's what I'm just sort of like, I love that you're just going full bore onto this bullshit.
Truly.
Like, it's so cartoony.
Yeah.
Like,
maybe,
if he's got a robot arm, maybe they all have like shin implants to make them taller. I don't know.
They've all got like Star Fox legs. It's just everybody from the knees down is metal.
Yeah, who fucking knows? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. And I like the casual, like, oh yeah, Nick, your girlfriend just married someone else, and then here's Animal's son. Like, it's so...
Yeah.
The lore is just wild with this.
Oh my God. And Animal's son, the moment that voice hit, I was like, who the fuck is this? And it's fucking Spinelli or whatever from Recess is why I knew it. But it's like a voice that I knew. You know, it's like a voice that you heard so much across cartoons. Particularly around this time, that it like blasted me directly into the past. It's like amazing. It's such a wild, like just absolutely absurd episode that wraps up so fast. But like, what's wild about it going so fast is it's not like it doesn't, it feels fast, but it doesn't feel like it is like losing details or plot along the way, which is really weird because like they established everything and they solved the problem, and I think they're just extremely efficient with their time. It feels fast, but it doesn't feel like messy as a result.
Well, and it's very straightforward. I think they because they get to the future so quickly. Like they get to the future so quickly,
and they figure it out real fast too.
They figure it out really fast, and it's sort of like, I think that they are smart enough to recognize that most viewers are going to understand what this type of story is. So it's just like, we're in a future. It's a bad future. We learn who caused the bad future. So now we go back in time and stop the guy who caused it. And he caused it because he's crazy.
Yeah,
like, there you go.
Pretty much.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny too that like, you know, of all the time travel movies and all the time travel stories and books and whatever, like, I love that this one is sort of like, yeah, you can't really tell Craven about himself, but we will absolutely give you future tech to go back and solve the problem.
It's so
like,
funny.
Yes.
It's
take
almost
those
comical.
future guns into the past.
Yeah, almost comical. There are these giant laser weapons, and it's like, what's going on? It's sort of like, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And it's like, but isn't he your electronics engineer who's going to be the most interested?
He's going to figure it out.
The most interested in this technology?
Right.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
Yeah. The only thing about this episode is I remember vividly that one part of the reordering is that, they ordered 40 episodes, but Fox could just decide when they wanted just to be
annoying.
like at the end of a season and the beginning of a season.
Mm-hmm.
So they made this the season premiere, and I remember them billing it like Godzilla's back season premiere, and it was this episode, and this episode was fucking wild. Like, I still vividly remember watching it for the first time because I was like, what is this?
That's funny considering Godzilla's like not in
barely
a big chunk
in it.
of this episode. Like called out, not in the episode, called out dead in this episode.
Yeah. I mean, though, this show, I think, just does episodes that don't have Godzilla in it very much. Yeah. And I think that they're able to do that because they have a strong cast.
I mean, the Hanna-Barbera cartoon didn't have Godzilla in it unless he was fighting somebody or saving them. Like, otherwise the humans just did things,
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think it makes sense.
Yeah, because actually, the Leviathan episode, Godzilla's not really in it that much, to be honest.
Dude. These fucking alien-ass motherfuckers.
Yeah. So basically, the one sort of major story arc this show has that I have to imagine if they got more than 40 episodes, they would have revisited. They practically tell you that they will revisit it eventually and then, aren't able to. But you basically have this episode, Leviathan, that seems to be kind of a standalone with sort of like an open-ended ending. And then actually that's the setup for a few episodes later, their big Monster War 3-parter, essentially, which
beautiful
is essentially just an adaptation of Destroy All Monsters, the movie. Which
Ooh,
we'll get to eventually.
Can't wait.
In a lot of ways. So yeah, it's fucking bananas. So the first episode, Leviathan, it's just like, if you're into like the conspiracy theories about like deep sea aliens have like been there, their deep sea UFOs have been there all along.
Yeah.
This episode's fucking for you, man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And there's so much going on. I mean, there's like going down there and being in their space, but then like when you get into the Monster War episodes, you've got the mind control, and you've got like body snatching, and you've got like body horror, and you've got like monsters rampage. I mean, these 4 episodes, Leviathan and the 3-parter Monster War, just have like everything you could possibly imagine.
Cyborg Godzilla.
Cyborg Godzilla.
Okay, honestly, the weirdest thing about the Monster War 3-parter is that they do it as early as they do, both in production and in airing.
Sure.
Like, these are all like within the first like 15 episodes of the show, based on production and airing order. And like, on one hand, it makes sense that it's sort of like, you get this shit for sweeps weeks out the door, get people to fucking see it. But the downside is that it's just like, they really do just like fire off every fucking shot in this art very early on.
It feels like the end of a season. It feels like building up to the end of your season.
Absolutely. It's wild. The Cyborg Godzilla is what seals it. It's like, oh, this is the arc where you revive the Godzilla from the movie and basically do your version of Mecha Godzilla, essentially.
Mecha Godzilla, but also, and granted, I haven't met Mecha Godzilla yet, but what I have met is Mecha King Ghidorah, which is basically this. They take like the carcass of a dead monster build it into a cyborg, and then like they use it as a tool, like with all these like additional weapons. I was like, this is fucking Mecha King Ghidorah. This is wild.
Yeah. Bananas.
This is so cool.
Yeah, I know we're skipping around plot-wise, but like it's what do you think of his fucking design? Like
it's
his
cool
like, zombie design. It's cool as hell.
It's cool as hell. It's also like incredible that because the protagonist Godzilla of the show is the last surviving Godzilla child, that reviving the Godzilla from the movie and turning it into a cyborg creates an additional incredible wrinkle in the fact that protagonist Godzilla is like effectively an orphan and has never known its parent, but naturally will recognize its parent. So like and they establish in that first episode that Godzilla's imprinting on a human and treating it like its parent. So it's such a good, incredible thing. They could have done a Cyber Godzilla regardless of the circumstances, and it would have been cool. But to do it specifically for how this show is set up makes it so perfect. It's just so good, and I genuinely didn't know like what was going to happen with it because pretty much immediately, pretty much the moment our Godzilla sees Cyber Godzilla, it's like that's my dad and I'm gonna side with him, you know, like and
you're not my real dad,
right? And you never will be, right? And like Tatopoulos sees that happen immediately, so it's just I don't know, it's really brilliant,
it's really good. Also, just minor detail, but like, you know, current protagonist Godzilla, green breath to match like the green font and everything, and the green color scheme that this sort of continuity has. Cyborg Godzilla, classic blue atomic breath, like from the original movies. Isn't that fucking genius? Like it's
beautiful.
It's so good.
I mean, all the work that this team put in to pretend they were doing something else, you better believe they were paying attention to the details making this show. You know, like there's no way that they wouldn't have been, given just their natural inclination to punk everyone into thinking they're doing something else. Like, it's just, I don't know, that everything about Leviathan and Monster War is so fun and interesting. I mean, even the voice actors have to like really put it in, because like I don't remember when I guess the mind control stuff doesn't happen until the Monster War arc. But in Leviathan, you have these weird fucking aliens.
Oh my god,
their
Ron
designs, Perlman ass aliens.
Their designs are so cool.
Like,
those have always stuck with me because they're like they're such freaks.
They are. They look like their body has been folded up over eons and can't unfold anymore.
Yeah.
You know,
they
like
give
it
me
looks
the vibe
like they
of like
should be
horseshoe crabs.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. There's something like deeply prehistoric, but also weirdly futuristic about them.
Yeah.
And like the fact that they're, you know, they feel very Godzilla based on the aliens I've encountered in Godzilla movies. Like they're this race of aliens that are here to gain information and eventually control monsters to destroy and take over the world, which I have seen at least, you know, related plots in Godzilla movies. So I think what's cool about this show is it's so clear that the people making it like Godzilla, or at least watched a fuck ton of Godzilla, like as they chose what their stories were going to be, you know?
Yeah.
And I think this is a really good example. Like, these aliens feel like Godzilla aliens. They don't just feel like they pulled some Men in Black aliens over into this show.
Yeah, at least motivation-wise, their designs are like insane.
Sure.
But
I mean,
like, yeah,
monster
their
designs
motivations
in general in this show are crazy.
Yeah, and like I think it's towards the end of the third part when like you see them like fully extend their neck. Like it's so gross. They're so freaky. The body horror in the show, again, jumping around for this whole 3-parter, but like just fucking watch it. It's great.
Yeah.
But like the body horror, because essentially, you know, the original Leviathan episode, it's about these scientists that disappear investigating an undersea spacecraft. So our team follows behind them and then finds that there are active aliens that are trying to like take over, thinks they kill the aliens, and then brings the surviving scientists back. Those 2 surviving scientists are actually like basically have like the aliens psychically implanted into their mind, is what we find out later. And so they become the villains of the Monster War arc, because they basically have the Ron Perlman aliens taking over their minds slowly and eventually taking over their bodies. So over the course of this 3-parter, you have this body horror shit where the people are, where the 2 scientists are slowly morphing pretty horrifically
Yes.
into these creepy like horseshoe crab fucking looking aliens.
Yeah.
And you see them in various states of transformation. And then the cherry on top is that at the end of all of this, when everything is solved, they don't fully revert back to human. They like revert halfway back to being human, but are still like half alien, just like in a coma, which I have to imagine if this show had gone on beyond 40 episodes, they would have fucking revisited the horror of that shit.
That's so fucked up too, because they're only villains because they were possessed by the aliens. They went down there just to like research, right? So like,
yeah,
that sucks.
It's ridiculous. Wild. Again, the show can be a little nihilistic and cruel sometimes, but I kind of dig it. I think it
works. I think they pull it off a lot of the time. Because I think they do. Because this is the Monster War thing, we also get tons of monsters. So we get Cyber Godzilla, which fucking rules.
God, so cool.
But we get a bunch of other monsters too, some of which return from episodes we watched as a part of this little package, but then other ones from other episodes clearly that had happened to that point.
Right.
What do you think of the monster designs generally? Like the monster design philosophy for this show?
Yeah, I think that it's weird. I think that for me, they don't really stick with me very much. But I don't hate them at the same time. I think that they make a lot of sense for this show. And I think that there is a consistency in that they all have a lot of lines. They almost feel like biotech kind of stuff, like that you might see is that right? Like biotech kind of tokusatsu, like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like Guyver type stuff, where it's like, it's like they're fleshy, obviously, but they also have so many lines on them. I don't know how to describe it. I have a hard time.
They're not quite biomechanical, but they give that vibe. I think
that vibe, you know?
To me, a lot of them look like animals that were like made to be like, they were originally animals, and then they through some process were made to be gargantuan monsters. So a lot of times they look like something familiar, but their proportions are all like sort of off, right? So they're a lot bigger. All of them, though, or at least the vast majority of them that have like a face, have those like really small, just like slit eyes with like no pupil, no sclera, nothing. It's just like a little yellow slit of an eye. And I think that shit looks cool in live action if you have like big, massive, gargantuan monsters that are just sort of like rampaging.
Yeah.
In here, though, it doesn't work quite as well because I'm sort of like, they're cartoons. You want to be able to like feel who they are a little bit.
Yeah, they don't really have personality.
In this, none of them really have personalities, and I think that kind of is reflected in their design. But a lot of them aren't really supposed to have personalities. Right. They're supposed to create a problem, or they're supposed to be a force of nature, or they're supposed to be, a weird, mysterious thing. And so it works even if the designs themselves don't stick with me, and if the designs themselves aren't. I'm sure there are some monsters in here that I would like a lot, but generally, like, as far as a slate of monsters goes, I don't know that I'd rank it very high as far as like monsters I like to look at.
Yeah, I agree with you. I watched this as a kid, and I don't think I ever had a favorite monster from this show. And like, that's ridiculous for me to not have a favorite monster. But we all did from something
like Power Rangers, or we all did from,
and
whatever.
I think that says a lot. Like, it's not that the designs themselves independently aren't cool. It's that I think the monsters don't really have personality most of the time. They're all just rampaging. And the ones that are cool are just like, they look like giant animals. But I to your point though, it is funny that I can picture all of these in the Monsterverse. Like, I feel like this kind of predicted,
don't they?
A lot of the design aesthetic of Monsterverse monsters.
It's really weird.
Like, I could see a Muto from the 2014 movie just being in this show, and vice versa,
Sure.
So,
or like I don't know, you saw the new Empire, right? Like, some of that stuff looks like you could very easily translate it into this style, or vice versa. Like, I don't know. It's interesting. It's really interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I don't hate it, but yeah, I like the snake guy. I think that we see in the Monster War
with like the sort of like Cobra frill or whatever. Yeah, that one's really cool.
I thought he was kind of cool.
Yeah, that one stood out to me.
Yeah.
I like that there's some sort of like bee thing that isn't making Mothra noises, but is kind of making Mothra noises.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. And then there's like a monster that's just like a plesiosaurus, basically, just like
Love
literally
it.
just a plesiosaurus,
But like with a skull face. That shit rules.
Right. It's
That
like,
shit
sure,
rules.
okay.
I don't know if I remember that, but I immediately felt a kinship, which makes me feel like deep down somewhere in my head, I loved that shit as a kid.
Yeah. This is also just random, but like, as I was watching through these episodes, I was also in the middle of replaying Mass Effect 3.
Ooh.
And a section of Mass Effect 3 was actually originally DLC, was the Leviathan DLC that was about undersea aliens that you encounter that can use mind control to indoctrinate and mind control various scientists to do their bidding from undersea. And they also like have a connection to creating synthetic mechanical life. So I'm
expose them.
BioWare. Were some of y'all fans of Godzilla the series? They were literally called Leviathan. So like,
yeah. Hard not to think about it.
yeah.
That's amazing.
Little interesting. It was the timing of that was just bizarre because I literally turned off like Monster War Part 3 and turned on the Leviathan mission of Mass Effect 3, and I was like feeling weird deja vu here right now.
Amazing. Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah. But you know what they weren't? Voiced by Ron Perlman.
They weren't voiced by Ron Perlman. No. Did we get a name for the alien? I guess they're just called the Leviathan aliens, or they are just the Leviathan.
Yeah, I think that they're just known as the Leviathan. Like, I'm sure that, the species has their own name for themselves, but
the civilization, or collectively, at least lore-wise, they are the Leviathan.
Yeah, like we refer to them as the Leviathan.
Yeah,
and everything.
God, so fucking cool. Truly wild. Truly wild. I love that the way that they mind control people. It's not just one way. It's not like that they just say like, I am now in control of you. It's that they like control emotions and interactions and interpersonal reactions, which I do remember. As I was watching that, I was like remembering them fighting with each other and like quitting and all that shit. I couldn't really remember like the context, but like as it was happening, I was like, I remember this. Everyone's mad at each other and it's weird.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, that's the other thing that's like on top of everything else. They also have the team break up, like partially through because of like influence, this sort of alien influence and everything.
Yeah,
you have Elsie who's like fully in control for most of it, and then has to have a whole redemption arc, and she's like their key to like tapping into the aliens' technology and like learning how to fly the ships. And they do have a clever thing where like, oh no, we severed the connection. Now I don't know how to fly the ship anymore. Like it's
smart.
So cool. Like the writing on all that stuff is so tcleverly done.
Yeah.
They
love their tachyons.
Look, tachyons are a fun science word. They really are. They're such a fun science word.
Yeah, that's why people keep using it liberally.
Yeah.
I like that they're using tachyons to send messages.
I don't know. I don't think that's how that works.
Over light speed in order to reach their planet and back instantaneously. It's wild.
Yeah, sure. I'll take it. Why not? Yeah.
I mean, tachyons, they're purely hypothetical, so they can do whatever they want.
That's true. That is true. But I mean, honestly, the more I think about it, like I keep thinking about like stuff that I forgot that happened in that 3-parter, but it's like, in addition to the aliens, like with the mind control and the team breaking up and the Cyber Godzilla and then Godzilla teaming up with Cyber Godzilla and then them controlling the monsters and the monsters going through the world and like destroying like capital monuments and shit, and Godzilla like demolishing the Washington Monument and Lincoln Memorial and Cyborg Godzilla stomping through Tokyo. We all wanted to fucking see it. In addition to all of that stuff, also then there's an entire full-scale invasion from the entire race that also shows up to Earth by the end of the 3rd part. Like,
it's perfect.
Again, how the fuck was this not the series finale of the show?
I don't know. I truly don't know. But you know what? It's sort of like there's so many Spider-Man shows that could end in a black suit arc, but none of them do. You want to get to that shit. You know what I mean? And so I think if you're watching a Godzilla show and you're building up this sort of, for lack of a better term, rogues gallery of monsters, and you know that Godzilla has done these all-out big sort of monster movies before, I do think people probably were sort of like, they're going to do it, right? They're going to do something with all these monsters, right?
But like, how could you top this? You know, like,
Truly.
I mean, I guess it doesn't matter because they didn't go long enough to have the opportunity to. But like, how would you ever top what they did in the 3-parter?
I would have thought you topped it by doing a time travel episode, but that was like not the point of their time travel episode at all.
Yeah,
I mean, who knows? This show is so deeply sci-fi that they could do anything. I mean, they could do a mirror universe. They could do
mirror universe.
They could go into space. Right. The aliens don't have to just come here. They could go into space. Like, I mean, they do that to an extent in that episode. You know what I mean? Like,
that's true.
Like, so there's a lot they could do. But this really does feel like a finale. It's really wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. This show fucking
so
rocks,
much fun.
dude.
You're right. Yes, it is so much fun.
Fucking rocks. The theme song, I love the theme song too. Bum, bum,
dude,
bum,
the moment it
bum,
started playing, I was like, "Oh, yes, I do remember."
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. It just does everything right. Everything right that the movie did wrong.
Yeah.
It's a good Godzilla cartoon.
Yeah.
Just a good Godzilla cartoon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good stuff. Do you I mean, they have done animated Godzilla stuff since, but they did like that trilogy of movies, right?
Yeah, so there's been a trilogy of movies. There's been an anime series that I think was only Singularity. I actually have not watched that.
Okay.
I think it's only like a 13-episode anime. I don't know if it's a thing that will continue or not. So we'll have to do something on it at some point, but that'll be my first time watching it probably.
Well, I was going to ask, like, do you think that they will do... I mean, there are 2 American sort of quote traditional, like in the sense that these would have shown on like a Saturday morning or something, like Godzilla cartoons. Do you think we'll ever get one like another one?
I think if we haven't already gotten a MonsterVerse Godzilla cartoon, we're not going to get it. It's not happening. And I think that just speaks to the weird era of IP that we're in, where for some reason big IP just don't generate animated series like they used to. Like,
it's weird.
We haven't had a proper MCU animated series. We've had things similar, like the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man cartoon. In a lot of ways, I know there was What If, and I know that a lot of the Disney XD Marvel cartoons were very much riffing on the MCU, but technically we haven't had like our Marvel MCU the series show really in the way that we used to with Spider-Man the animated series and even the MTV Spider-Man show and Godzilla the series and Men in Black the series and all that stuff, right? Like, I think we got the Monarch TV show, but I think this stuff is treated with such like, it has to be like perfectly in continuity. It has to be a perfect, like, everything feeds into everything else. We can't veer away from it. That means that, like, if you're going to do a MonsterVerse thing, it has to be like something that fits neatly into continuity and like feeds into your story somehow, which means that they're probably afraid to do an animated MonsterVerse
It's
show.
So weird though, because, and this, I guess, you know, Patreon, you get this lovely little insight into some non-canonical journey here. But like, the New Empire feels exactly like the movie you would launch a cartoon from.
I know.
So
I agree
much
with
of
you.
that movie feels
I agree
like,
with you.
And we'll probably have to revisit that when we revisit that movie, but like, so much of it feels built to be an ongoing Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah, I 1000% agree with you. And I fit the fact that the only TV show that's come out of the MonsterVerse is Monarch, which like takes place between like after the first Godzilla movie, after the 2014 Godzilla movie, and barely has anything to do with that stuff. It's like, which I like, and I like Monarch a lot, but like that you can also do a animated Godzilla cartoon where it's just Godzilla and Kong fighting monsters all the time.
Yeah.
And part of it could be a weird rights thing, you know, like it could
Maybe.
just cost extra money to continue to license Godzilla and or Kong and or all these other characters and monsters for a cartoon. You know, they've always run into that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's part of it, you know, but also I just like, for some reason, it just doesn't seem like networks and studios want to do that.
It's weird.
You know?
It's weird.
Yeah, I don't get it. Because I think a MonsterVerse Godzilla cartoon would be fucking killer. I think that even people who don't like the MonsterVerse would probably enjoy that because it would give opportunities to give you stuff that you don't get in the MonsterVerse that you might want to see.
I feel like similarly, certainly never could be to the dramatic degree that this is, but like certainly it would have a similar opportunity to do for what people don't like about the MonsterVerse in a probably more appropriate setting for those people, right? So like a lot of the stuff that's in the Godzilla the series works, I think, specifically because it is an ongoing animated series, and I think that there
Right.
are probably things people would stomach better that wouldn't be that different from the new Empire in a ongoing animated series.
Yeah. It's weird and silly that we don't have that. Because it would just, I don't know. I think having a third American animated Godzilla just like feels so right. Like
there can't just be two,
right? And it feels like we've been waiting a long time. And the fact that both of them are sort of like beloved in very particular ways. Like I know that there are people who don't like the Hanna-Barbera one, but like I think it has stood the test of time.
Yeah.
I think there's a good track record with animated Godzilla. So
yeah. We'll see. I hope we're wrong.
Yeah, I would love to be surprised.
I hope we're surprised. Yep.
Yeah. Anything else about Godzilla the series?
No, just that I'm excited to go back and actually rewatch more of these episodes, especially those unaired ones.
Yeah, definitely. Well, cool. Thank you all for being our patrons. That means we love you a little bit more than we love everyone else. And I'm sure we'll be back with some other fun Godzilla bonuses sometime in the future, the far, far apocalyptic future of 2022. We'll be back with some Godzilla episodes.
See you then.
See ya.